Hello and welcome to another episode of In the Headlights. Today I am super excited to present to you the first supercar I've ever driven. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Audi R8. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to get notified of all our future uploads. So in 2008, the R8 was Audi's first foray into the supercar market. And you know what? It makes sense because for a brand with so much success in racing, why not take some of that knowledge to good use and make a flagship supercar for the brand? Now that's not to say that Audi went in all on their own. This platform is actually shared with the Lamborghini Gallardo. And in the V10 versions of the R8, the engine is actually shared with the Lamborghini, although they are tuned a bit differently, with the R8 getting a little less power. So I'll start with the overall look of the car. Now, for those of you who have seen an R8 before or even vaguely know about the R8, you'll know that this is the distinctive look of the whole car. It's short, it's wide, it's not that long, but you know, there's only one car in the world that looks like this, and it's the R8. So up front, we'll start with the lights. They're not wholly interesting, but I do have a fun fact. So apparently, the R8 was the first production car to come with LED headlights. Cool! Anyway, up front we also have this massive grille on both sides with the big strakes. And of course, because this car is mid-engined, that means up here we have the frunk, or the fruit, whichever you prefer. So, let's take a look. You can open it from the key. Let's reach in. There you go. So the fruit, or the frunk, is actually quite deep. It goes quite far. Not big enough for me to climb in, but it is quite big. You could store weekend bag, some extra stuff. If you wanted to, you could store some groceries. Although don't put any ice cream in here because it does get a bit hot. So now on the side, you can see the R8 has 19-inch rims, and this car came with 295 width rears from the factory, which is just huge. Now the R8 also came with optional carbon ceramic brakes, which this doesn't have. But if you wanted the extra stopping power, you could pick those. Now, as we walk along, you can see just how low this car is. I know I'm 1.8 meters tall, but it only comes up to like my waist, or like, yeah, just about my waist. And I think that's one of the key ingredients for a supercar's looks, is have it, really low. And of course, with the R8, you also have this nice flush door handle, so you can't see any protrusions along the side. And then we have the signature R8 side blade. This one is in carbon fiber, and it houses, of course, the air intakes for the engine back there. Now, if you like the look of carbon fiber like that, and you want to get your car, your cup holder, your water bottle, your auntie wrapped in carbon fiber, you can look for our friends at Voss Automotive. With a keen understanding of vinyl wraps, paint, and custom automotive bodywork, Voss Automotive is your best option to give your car a 360-degree transformation without breaking the bank. So here at the back, we have this rear spoiler. Now this is electronically operated, and I believe it does come up on its own at some speed. But you can also press a little button in the cockpit to raise or lower it as you wish. And now these exhaust pipes, twin pipes, with the single exit on each side. Usually this would signify that this has a V10. But on the V8s, this would have two smaller pipes on each side. Now this has a V8, so obviously that's been replaced. So lifting up the glass engine cover, we can see that 4.2 litre naturally aspirated V8 in all of its glory. And this was enough to make 414 horsepower and 430 Newton meters of torque, which could get the R8, even in this form, from 0 to 100 in just 4.6 seconds. And if you kept your foot in it, you could hit 301 kilometers an hour. And just look at it, real sunk in to the chassis like that. And this, because this is the original R8, it came with the 6-speed automated manual R-tronic gearbox. And it was also available from the factory with a 6-speed gated manual. And later R8s, they came with the S-tronic dual clutch gearbox that made it a lot easier to drive and smoother to drive than the R-tronic. So overall, the look of the R8 is something that has actually changed very little over the years. Since the original one, this one came out in 2008. Even the latest R8 still looks pretty similar. But you know what they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I don't think there's anything that needs fixing. It's still a great looking car, and with these looks, there's no denying it's a supercar. So if you drive something as nice as this, you want it to keep looking nice. And for that, you can use 3K Defense from our friends over at KGC Workshop. 3K Defense has been established since 2016 and is customized for Singapore's weather, providing you with the most suitable coating for our climate to protect and shine your car. So here we are in the, well, not front seats, but just the seats of the Audi R8. And like most other coupes and two-seater cars, it is quite tight in here. It's everything's cocooned around you, and you sit really low. There's a big dashboard in front of you, but visibility in this car is actually pretty good. Now, in terms of practicality, in addition to the frunk, you actually have a parcel shelf behind the seats that I've heard you can put 2 golf bags inside. Probably small golf bags, but you can put some golf clubs back there for when you go to the range. In terms of amenities, again, this is a car that was a pre-big digital age. So you don't have that much. You have some steering wheel controls. This one is an aftermarket infotainment system. And then you have simple climate controls down here. Here you have the controls for the 6-speed automatic manual, conventional handbrake, the button for the rear wing, ESP off, and honestly, that's about it. You really don't get very much inside the R8 because the focus of the R8 is to drive. So let's go do that. So before we leave, since we are in a underground enclosed space, what better thing to do than let you listen to how the car sounds. You ready? Turn up your volume. You ready? Woo! Alright, so driving the R8. And as you can see, this has the single clutch automated manual R-Tronic gearbox. And let me tell you, driving around in normal roads, it's pretty clunky. It's not the most fun drivetrain I've ever felt in the car. Doesn't really know what gear it wants to be in. Because it's an automated manual, it's very, when it changes gear. If you put it in manual mode, it is slightly better because you can kind of drive it like a manual, lift off when you shift and all that. But if you want to daily drive this thing, it's not great. Also, fuel consumption is quite high. So the upside is once you do get to a bit of open road, it is a lot more livable because you're not constantly just doing that, getting car sick. And I can see how people do daily drive this thing. But where the R8 really starts showing its character is when you get on it a bit more. Just listen to it. It's not especially quick. It's only got about 420 horsepower in this version, but you don't need that much, out and out speed. And I really hate to beat a dead horse, but with the age of the electric car coming, this is what we're losing, There's gonna be a whole generation of kids that have never heard a V8 scream. And this one really screams all the way to 8,000. God bless the V8. Do I wish this was the V10 version? A bit. Am I sad that I'm in the V8? Not at all, man. Not at all. So this car is just approachable, it's not scary. It's composed, it corners really flat. And the brakes are good, so if you do have something in front of you, you can slam on them real quick. Ready? Something like that. Sorry to the cameraman. And because you sit so low in the car, you really do feel, hunkered in at one with the car, like you're in a little bullet, And as my first drive in what you would define a supercar, it's a pretty good drive. There we go. Cornering flat, easy to corner, easy to place the car, no drama. And even if there is drama, it's easily, very easily recoverable. but we're good. We're good. This car is good. Long corners. Car stays flat. No issues whatsoever. All you have to do is drive with a little sympathy, and the car will give you what you want. And I mean, I can see, that Audi has put their racing know-how into this car. And considering this was their first attempt at a supercar, and I haven't driven, the newer versions, but I assume they're a bit more polished and refined than this, and I say what a platform to refine, Now, if you want to keep your car making good power, you need to protect your engine, and with that, you can use SPC lubricants, where protection is everything. So I know several people who are completely and utterly in love with the R8. It's been their dream car for ages. But to me, I never was the biggest fan of the R8. I always leaned more towards its competition, like your Lamborghinis and your Ferraris. And after driving it today, especially with the R-Tronic gearbox in this early R8, it just doesn't feel as refined as I know it can be. So if you have a later year R8 and you want to give me a shot to try it, please contact me. I'd love to give it a try and compare it to this one. But despite all of that, there is no doubt that the R8, even in this early, almost prepubescent form, is still a brilliant car. So no matter what you drive, especially if it's something as nice as this, you're gonna need insurance. And for that, you can use Direct Asia. It's the only direct insurer with the highest NCD, lifetime repair guarantee, and flexible coverage. Direct Asia protects your car so you can have peace of mind and enjoy the moments that matter. Because what drives you matters most. Get a quote now at 665 5555 today. Visit directasia.com. As always, thank you very much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon.